Hey gang, Sean Geek here,
And Fast Fret.
and we have two storefronts. If you are a TeePublic fan, you can browse our inventory over at TeePublic, which is teepublic.com/Sean Geek Podcast.
Or redbubble.com/people/Sean Geek Podcast.
You can get anything from either storefront, from t-shirts, stickers, phone cases, accessories of all kinds. We're talking masks, notebooks, mugs, pillows, totes, tapestries.
Oh my.
Oh my, everything's there. Just go to those addresses. Also, check the show notes and help support the show. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Uh, Welcome to the Sean and Geek, the Sean Geek and Fast Fret podcast. Done.
Well done. Okay, we're going to use that. So I just added a bunch of stuff to our board, Karen.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw it.
I have not. Because
Because
there's a long list, like an ongoing list there.
we have a million things to talk about.
Let's see.
And I also have some rum and some whiskey. So I was like, okay, this sounds like a good Monday night to me.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, there's so much stuff going on. Like, I don't even know where to start. Where do we start? It's been so long. Do we want to go Mando right away?
Up to you. I don't know what the smoothest transition there would be.
I don't think there's going to be anything smooth about this. Well, we've got like trailers. We've got the Marvels trailer
Sure.
about. There's like isn't there 17 Flash trailers by now?
Yeah,
Like,
because there's one in every country or something. They're really ramping up on the advertising for that.
Yeah, because I saw one today. It's like new Flash trailers. Like it's all in Spanish. I'm like, what?
Yeah, so like every ad in like a different dialect has like some new footage. So I feel like if you watch all of them, you will, watch the
See the
whole
movie?
movie.
All right, we might save some money and not go to the theater and just watch a bunch of trailers.
Yeah.
Piece it together. How are you feeling about the Flash movie? So like the Flash movie so far, just based on what you've seen.
Based on what I've seen is very, very much very, very Flashpoint, right? But
Yeah.
I'm always curious, like how, like how we started with all of this is like I'm curious how they translate the book material.
Mm-hmm.
There's an animated movie to live action,
because Marvel always borrows like very lightly from the source material,
right? And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Right. And for this one, I don't know, and I'm not quite sure if this is with James Gunn's magic or is it still very much its own, right? Like I don't know where it stands. So
I think they asked the director if like, is this it? And he's like, well, it all depends on how it does. And if it does well, then like, they're like, well, if it does well, then what? Like, this is the only movie, right? Or is it part of James Gunn's? Well, it all depends on how it does, he says. I'm like,
but then
oh, I don't know.
But then like we have the whole Ezra thing, which is overall, controversial on its own. So
they asked the director about how he's doing. And apparently, like, he's not going to be part of any press, zero press.
Well, because they're probably just going to ask him about, his whole mental state, and we don't know how stable that is, or it might break him or something.
It might. I don't know. Apparently he's still under care. So like,
I hope so.
yeah, like that's not something, I don't know. Cuckoo bananas, as my kids would say.
Yeah. Well, it's like the price of fame, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, it happens, and you get too much and you have access to too much, and then here we go.
How would we handle that fame? I think we'd be pretty chill.
I like to think so, but that's, I think, a lot of them. Like you'd watch like every documentary where they tell their story about how, they got involved in drugs and whatever, came close to death and then got better. They started all off like thinking like I'm just gonna be chill about it. But
Yeah,
like
that's
this,
true.
I like to think I'm still gonna be chill about it. I'm not like, I don't know, the fame and all the money would probably be very overwhelming.
You'd have a lot of toys.
Yeah. And then you'd be I feel like I'd be like almost too scared to spend the money,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I know I will have access to all of this, but should I? Is this the right thing to do?
Mhm. I always feel guilty when like if we have a couple extra bucks in the bank, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
like I feel bad or guilty or I like
Yeah, am I doing
never
something
know what to
wrong
do.
if I spend it on, if we splurge on this?
Hmm.
So maybe we'll be fine. Maybe we'll a lot chiller.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so. I don't know. I don't know. It'll never happen. Like the show's not going to blow up that much.
You'll never know.
Never
Or if you
know.
win the lottery. But yeah, like a lot of the it usually happens, it's very common with child actors,
Yeah.
crossing that, puberty to adulthood line, and some of them do it kind of, gracefully, and a lot of them struggle quite a bit and have the same path.
It's hard enough to just get there like without anything
Right.
else going on. Like, I don't know. I can't imagine like all the other stuff that goes on at the same time, like all that
Right, because like the behind the
money.
scenes, because like you're a kid, right? And like if you say, I don't want to do this anymore, there's you sign a contract. So you're being taught like, well, you have to honor this, because you promised someone that you're gonna do this. So I don't care if you're not sleeping or whatever, you're gonna do this. Long shooting hours or long filming hours, multiple concerts, traveling, time zone
Yeah.
differences, right? Like you just lose your childhood essentially, and then you're like, next thing you know, you're
But there
trying
are
to catch
different,
up.
yeah, there's different controls, I think, in place now that weren't in place even 10 years ago. Like
Mm-hmm.
when Britney Spears, well, that was more than 10 years ago. Like when Britney Spears was coming up, that shit was still there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think now there's like with the my God, but like all the stuff with Weinstein going on and stuff, like there's so many levels of protection.
Right, but
I'm assuming I could be wrong. This could just be
right.
PR thing. Oh no, we have, but I know they have people on set that are there to, if there's nudity involved, they have their I can't remember what they said. There's like they have a role and they're actually hired and they're part of the crew to make sure that no lines are being crossed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then there's been a few cases where lines have been crossed. And it's like, oh, that's the rule now. Like some people are like, I don't understand. Like Millie Bobby Brown, she
Yeah,
got
yeah,
in
yeah.
trouble recently because she was oogling somebody and she made a
Oh,
couple of lewd comments and she got roasted for it, like by, I don't know who she got roasted by, but she was just like, wow, that guy's so smoking hot. And or said, I don't know, she said something, I don't know
see,
exactly
that's when that
but
that I feel bad sometimes because you can't say anything because you're a public figure. But Alex did brought up a good point that like you are a public figure and you've signed up for that, so that's the price you pay. You have to be careful. But it is kind of sad that like, oh, you can't make one stupid
no,
post
you can't
or
make zero, yeah, stupid posts.
Mhm, mhm.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I was like, there's figures.
Hi, Ellie.
I
Hello.
I'm gonna say hi to Karen.
I
Hi.
So do you need something, sweetheart?
I just need like warm apple juice.
You need warm apple juice. Okay. Give me a second.
Sure.
And there's been a few things that have been brought up along that line because it's always been not one-sided, I guess, but everyone's always talking about how the old boys club are making the women feel uncomfortable, and that's obviously been a problem like
Right.
like from the advent of cinema, of course.
I'm just like amazed with how fast the internet people are right now, you know? Heaven forbid we say something wrong that we don't mean in this podcast, and some smartass in the
Yeah.
internet will just point it out and rip us apart and, you know, just cancel the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, it
And
could happen for sure.
and some people get so I can't remember who it was, some like a pop star that I'm not super familiar with, or some younger actress, and she was saying the interview and she couldn't complete a whole sentence because she would kind of backtrack and try to defend what she said. Like there's nothing wrong, but she was just being, you know, overly careful, which is, it's just scary. I think you and I will have a little bit of a pass, you know, because we're, you know, we're not public figures, and we're just
exactly.
you know, we're just talking here, and you know, if something leaks, something leaks. But I don't know how you're gonna cancel us.
I think what we need to get back to though is the whole, okay, I put my foot in my mouth and I said something I wasn't thinking, or I wasn't processing properly when I said something. I didn't mean it a particular way, but it came out a particular way. I'm really sorry I said that. I didn't mean to say it. We should be able to just do that, because that's how things have always worked.
You apologize. You didn't know.
Like if I say something insensitive to my wife, for example, I never mean it. Like, you know, I love my wife, you know, immensely. So if I ever said something that hurt her feelings or offended her, it wasn't on purpose.
Right.
You know, it was like, we should be able to do the same thing in public. You know, if you get in shit at work, like, hey, don't do that again. Okay, thanks. You know, I won't. You know, like we should be able to do that with public speaking, I would think. Within reason, I guess, you know.
Right. And I saw somewhere the Lizzo, you know, Lizzo had like a line in her song. So very popular right now. No one's saying anything, and someone from, I think someone from Africa said something that, like, you know, this one word translates kind of offensively to in our language. And
how would you know that?
She didn't know, but she's like, oh, I didn't know, I apologize, I'm going to change my lyrics. But people were still slamming her down for having included that. And but like, it's no one even knows that that's the word until someone brought it up.
But someone brought it up and she dealt with it. To me,
right? Like what
cool.
what do you know? What do you want her to do? Unknow, you know, undo, go back in time and, like, you know, cancel the whole song.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what people want.
Or should we just know everything always?
Can you imagine how much longer?
Yeah.
Do you remember how much longer songwriting or storytelling would be, because there's someone, like, you know, you get a panel of like different sensitive people that, you know, could react to that. But it's like sometimes you're just like telling a story.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not about you. You're just telling a story in another voice, you know, especially in songs. Like take a Johnny Cash song, for example. Like all of his songs are stories, not necessarily about him, but some people interpret them as being about him.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily about him. He's the storyteller. So, I mean, if I write about, in one of my books, if I write about a character who did something duplicitous or whatever, like evil, that's not me. That's the character that did it, by the way, you know?
Right.
Like,
and again, and there's also, like, movies, books, and shows that are like kind of a product of their time, you know.
God, yeah.
They're made in the past, and for people nowadays to hold those in current standards, they're all going to fail. Like I see people like criticize like Friends, for example, something well loved, or The Office. Like it's not going to find, like, well, that's like the humor in it, that's the story, and that's like, you know, it was set in the past, and that's kind of, you know, Joey's that character. You can't like be like, oh,
Joey's
he's like
not a
awful
character that plays well now, I guess. But I mean, we all know that character, and that's a great example.
Right, but it was just like, you know, it's just can we not just enjoy it for what it is? Like, they're not saying that these are people, these are characters that you should be portraying in, in a group of friends. Like you should be one of these. Like, it was just a funny show. Can we take it as like face value or as like a story?
Like we read like Huckleberry Finn and Great Expectations, like all those books. Like some of those books are going to be inappropriate too.
Right. Tom Sawyer, doesn't that like have the N word,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, but that's in the past. So what should we do? Like, just like, I'm super against like book burning and all of that. Because that's it just exists. And there's a book for everyone. Like I'm not a big fan of Twilight books, but I'm not gonna be like burn those books they're awful.
But at the same thing, we need a historical context of things. So if something was written in the 1800s and it's incredibly offensive, it's good to have it as a historical context, because if we don't learn from past mistakes, we are doomed to repeat them, right? Like that's kind of the point.
And that's even like worse because like the movie 1917, I don't know if you've seen it.
Not yet.
Amazing movie because it's meant to appear like it's just shot in one take, the whole movie. So anyway, set in 1917, World War One. And there's some people who are like,
is that my assignment, by the way?
Yes.
I think I will check it out. It's been on my list.
Very, very good
but
movie.
It's a Sean watching by himself movie. It's not a Sean and Sylvie movie. So
it's a very good movie. You're just it's a straightforward story. It's not linked. So if you're, because my sister is not a fan of history, so I told her, it is set in that time period, but it's not going to bombard you. It's not going to confuse you if you're not super big in history. You're literally just following a story. But some people were like, well, there's no female representation in the war. I'm like, in 1917, was there any women in the front lines? Like, I don't know what you expect. But like, again,
yes, the women were actually just working in the factories because all the men had gone to war. Like,
or a nurse or, staying at home. I don't know. But like, they're trying to be as accurate as they can within the time period. And, again, people are just like, oh, did you check these boxes? And I think we've talked about this before.
That's right. Because there's but the box checking, because there is a, I can't remember. There's like 3 things that you have to, maybe 4.
Diversity check.
Yes. That you have to do that. But you can't historically tell a story about history by checking the boxes.
Right. And you get it, you get the other way around where some movies are just checking boxes but have like zero substance, right? Like they just like, oh, I just wanted to do this, and this. So past that, I have a movie. But whether or not it's a great story, questionable, or maybe not in some cases. But I don't know, it's very tricky nowadays to be in a public figure.
You know me, like I'm all for checking boxes in context, right? Like like the diversity we're seeing like in the MCU, like I'm all over it. Like I really, really like it. But as long as it's done, correctly and without
but there's going to be, it's not saying that, oh, there cannot be any, white man leading a movie because we're in the future. I'm like, if that's the story they want to tell, that's gonna happen, like you can, if they want to continue with a Batman story, you can't like try to fit that in boxes, like oh, there's no this, there's no that. I'm like, that's the story they're trying to tell. I don't know.
You know what, we have this amazing synergy. That is the perfect segue. You just created a segue there. Look at that. It's amazing.
Natural, very natural.
So I want to segue into Fantastic Four because, as you recall, Fen Forstic or Slap Chapstick, or I don't know. The other one, I don't know. In that one, they really tried to diversify, right? And I don't know if it was done from we have to tick boxes, guys. This is what we have to do now. We have to tick boxes. I don't know if they did it for that reason or not, but regardless, I was wondering if the new Fantastic Four movie was or was not going to go that way, because Marvel is actually opening up the doors to having characters of every creed, religion, and whatever, which is good. So I thought, okay, well, with the last Fantastic Four movie, they did it in a very overtly blatant way, or it was kind of
too in your face.
Look what we did.
Yeah.
Yay, look at us.
Yeah.
Look at us white people doing good. It was it on, like, I don't know if that was, I could be, don't take this wrong, but it kind of felt that way. It's like, okay. And I was trying to be open-minded about it, because okay, well, why not? Like,
I'm not opposed to having, let's say, like, Black Superman, or something different, but like, make it tasteful and offer something new, because we can't just change the color and or the gender or whatever, and have nothing. If you don't have a good story, I don't care who you put in. It's like the Little Mermaid all over. They're like, getting mad at, like, oh, why is the Little Mermaid black? I'm like, but have you seen, like, the other creatures around her? Like, you've seen how scary.
Let's focus on something else there.
Yeah,
like,
you see are we not worried about the CG in this movie, that it's gonna, ruin it? Because Flounder does not have a facial expression, FYI. Sebastian, when he sings, I don't know, Under the Sea, he's not gonna have any vibrant, facial expression. So
because fish don't have
correct.
expressions.
Right. So again,
like Lion King all over again.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I don't know if ticking boxes is like you said, you can't just tick boxes and not have a good story. You got to back that up, in that way your point comes across completely.
I was sure they were going to do that with the new Fantastic Four. I had a feeling they were going to go that way. And they didn't. And honestly, like, whatever, grab the best actor. I'm always of that opinion.
I think I think they grabbed, like, good actors. It's just I don't know what the problem is. The writing took itself too seriously. And it didn't seem,
the director had a vision, but it was like that whole Zack Snyder thing where, okay, I'm going to do a super dark DC.
Yeah.
And I think the director was doing, I'm going to do a super dark Fantastic Four.
But, and you can do that, but, like, you need to know your characters, because
the heart and soul of the character is important.
Right. Because as long as you have the essence of the character, like, you can have a Christopher Nolan Batman and the Matt Reeves Batman. They know their character.
Work, actually.
Yeah, you just put them in a different world and create your own story, and it'll work as long as you know your character.
Yeah, the essence is still there. You've changed the visual, you've changed the way the costume looks, you've changed, but the essence of the character, like, even though they're kind of different characters, it's still identifiable as Batman.
Yeah. Because what was it? Like Man of Steel, for example, Zack Snyder.
Yep.
He made it like Superman is just so different. He's like so serious, and again, like, the biggest thing was, like, he just, like, killed someone.
Yeah.
Point blank, which usually is a big conflict for him. Like, they were trying to convey that, but, like, I don't know if you know your characters, like, giving Batman, like, actual guns in his movies.
But he did raise the point, though. He did bring this up, which I didn't even realize, but apparently Superman has killed a total of, like, 3 or 4 people, or maybe more, in the comic.
And I know that, and the joke is always like, they don't want to kill, but then they break every man's bones, like the comic book.
Well, that was the thing with Batman in the comics, like, oh, he's still alive.
But Superman is kind of like Superman, I would say it's should have the same aura as, like, a Captain America, very righteous. It should be
the big blue Boy Scout.
Exactly. And that's not what he portrayed.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, does he know, questionable if he knows his characters or not, right?
Yeah.
Let's say Dwayne The Rock not knowing, Shazam
Oh my God, yeah.
or not, he thinks that he's this. I'm like, okay, if you don't know your character, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, it felt more like like the Cavill's Superman, not not talking about Cavill specifically, but the direction of that Superman was like an Elseworld Superman. It didn't feel like, okay, let's try to keep a DC continuity here. No, it was like, oh, we're gonna do we're this complete Elseworlds, and it was like,
and I get it. Like, it is hard to write a story, to come up with the whole story arc. But like, I don't know. That's why you have a team of researchers or research it and capture the essence.
I'm on my ninth edit of my book, so I can. And it's like the story's not right. I'm gonna go do it again.
Right? Yeah. Because it was done. It can be done.
Yeah.
People have been doing it so many times, right? So there's so many iterations of Batman now. So, and there are some that work. So interpret it however you want.
You are freaking segging again. Look at you. I'm gonna call you the Segway.
Yeah.
So
and again, to everyone listening, like, none of this is planned. We have no script here.
Zero planning. So this fits well with what's going on with Blade, because Blade is going under its third rewrite. I don't know if you heard. Did you hear about that?
I heard about that. Yeah.
And it's with a writer that I can't remember his first name.
Mahershala.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ali. I know his last name. And I am a fan. I loved him in Luke Cage. And I loved him in House of Cards. I haven't seen him in anything else. I probably should.
Green Book. He's in Green Book with Aragorn.
Oh, Aragorn. Okay.
Vigo. Yeah.
Oh, I like Vigo.
Yeah, that Green Book is good.
Okay, maybe I should check that out. So that's under rewrites, but that's with a writer that he's familiar with. I can't remember what the writer wrote, where he's from, but he wanted his writer in because he knows me. He knows my acting strengths. So he's coming in to do another polish.
Maybe that's what happened with, Flashtastic, where, these actors have like strengths. The director has a vision, but he doesn't really know how to move them. Yeah. Because all those like 4 actors they picked were really good, right?
They're the top of the top.
Miles Teller, like,
are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah,
it's phenomenal. And who played Sue Storm? It was
Kate Mara, or
have you seen her in anything else?
Yeah, she's
amazing.
Always good,
like really good. I was excited about when I saw the casting. I'm like, okay, I'm in. Yeah. I'm so in. And I was angry. But whatever. But with the rewrite on the Blade, like, some people are like, oh my God, the movie's in trouble. It's like, no,
they're trying to prevent that.
9 edits on my effing book. They're doing 3. That's not even a lot.
Right.
Like, honestly,
and it's good for them. Yeah. And with, with how they're getting criticized nowadays, with like, the quality of the work is not, as high as it was.
Exactly, because of that.
Might as well up the quality, for this one.
Because you might have a really good, strong script, but the dialogue might be a little pitchy.
Right.
Or you might have great dialogue, but the plot's a little pitchy.
You know what the problem I feel like? But I feel like nowadays, they write their stories. A lot of these movies, a lot of the movies write their stories backwards. I feel like they have like an ending in mind, or they want this to happen.
Yes.
And then let me just connect that. Let me just make.
Yeah, it does not work at all.
You need to know your characters should have their own personalities, and you have to stick to that, right? And you need to have a vision, a direction, and then you also have, beginning, middle, and an end. I don't know. That's like basic storytelling.
Yeah, but there's also other things too. I keep going back to my book. I don't know why, but for some reason this is connecting. But in my book, the reason I'm doing another edit is because I realized there's a couple of characters that don't have their own arc through the story. So they seem like surface characters. So
Which is also a style. Like, you can make them surface characters and
Sure.
commit to that all the way, but if you really care for them,
but I
give them
half-assed
life,
it,
right?
right? I gave them life here and then 3/4 of the way through and then nothing at the end. Or, you know, in some of the Marvel movies, the critique has been, wow, that character, like, look at the Wasp in Quantumania. It's like, is she even in the movie?
Exactly.
She's just helping the plot along. You know, maybe if they had gone through and done another polish, okay,
Right.
not necessarily give her something more to do, but give where she is, have a bit more substance. And that sometimes that could just be a couple of lines here, a couple of lines there. Maybe an extra,
Because we got a good
you know,
we got a good idea of her personality in the previous movies.
yeah,
So,
for sure.
you know, build on that type of thing, right? Like,
Or go back as a writer, go back and watch the other two movies. Oh shit, in the first movie, halfway through, there's a scene where Hope is doing this. Boy, it'd be nice to tie back to that piece in the third film and just show that she's grown, like, as a character. Like, go back to the originals and relearn the previous two movies, the things that worked and the things that didn't work, and go, oh, because in the second film, you and I talked about this before.
Yeah.
There's things that just didn't work in that film. So take those points and go, okay, now here's our chance to improve upon it. Like they did with Avengers, the second one, and with
Ultron,
Thor, the second one. They went back and like, okay, I know those scripts weren't very strong, or the directing wasn't very strong, or whatever the deal was, but we're gonna go back in Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, and we're gonna revisit those, but we're gonna try to not fix what they had come before, but have payoff.
Right, because like if you recall, like that whole saga had like a vision, because throughout as they're having movies and all of that in between, you know, Iron Man will have a vision, or he'll have, you know, in the future, right?
That's right.
So, so they know
that
where
shit
they're
paid
going
off.
to,
Yeah,
right?
that
They
shit
know where
paid
they're
off.
going to. Right now, I don't know, or I'm not getting a feel of they know how they're gonna plan this out. It looks like what they're doing right now, they're gonna tease the immediate next one or whatever comes after that, whatever is related to that, but there's not really a good tie-in, right? Like every post-credit scene in the first three phases of Marvel had Thanos appearing at the end, so you get little bits and pieces of him. So clearly you're leading towards that. Like, it would be silly if we had, you know, a big Avengers movie at the end with no Thanos, you know, because that's the direction that they're going to. And every movie had, like, you're building up on like Iron Man's anxiety about the future and all of that, right? Like,
that was a good arc, actually. Yeah,
so everyone had a good, like, you know, big arc that they're trying to accomplish at the end, and they're trying to give them growth and, you know, ups and downs in the characters. But nowadays I feel like they're focused on right now.
We're doing Kang.
And
we're doing Kang.
We're doing Kang right now in Ant-Man. So I don't know if they even know what they're doing with Kang as the big bad in, you know, in an Avengers movie. I don't know if it's not giving me confidence, right? Like, you know, and again, these movies, I'm not saying we don't enjoy them, we still watch them because you get some sort of enjoyment out of it, but you just get the feeling that it's not the same.
But they're slowing down now, which is like, if you put out 2 movies a year or 2 or 3 movies a year, I'm okay. I'm totally okay with that.
You know, I was thinking, like, are they just catching up on, you know, lost time during COVID?
Yeah.
No idea.
Because we had a period of, like, was it 2 years where nothing came out?
Something like it was just like Black Widow, and you have a few TV shows, but you know, we had our problems with WandaVision, where because he didn't have time to shoot the ending, you know, traveling and whatever.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So you get those, and unfortunately it didn't work, right? Or the ending, it didn't stick the landing, is what the general consensus is with WandaVision. But we can't completely blame them, because they're just trying to do the best they can. Or, you know, Black Widow being released online instead of just, you know, having a theater release obviously hurt the movie sales wise. but I don't know what you could do.
Have you gone back to watch Black Widow a second time?
I have not actually.
Me neither.
Um,
Would we enjoy it more, do you think?
because the thing with Black Widow, it was just like it just came out too late. I think it's hard to
But what if we watched it in
order.
I wonder if we'd enjoy it more.
If we watched it right after, where did it fit?
Right before Endgame, right?
Yeah, before Endgame.
Infinity War.
Yeah.
Right? Is that right?
Yeah. I just could not unsee what we saw in Endgame.
Yeah.
Right? Because Endgame came
Exactly.
out and then you see this and I'm like, well, I know what's gonna happen to her.
Yeah.
Like
the stakes didn't matter.
exactly.
It pisses sorry, I'm getting mad here. It pisses me off that the only reason she didn't have her movie come out when she wanted, or the movie being made when she wanted, was that dickwad that working at Marvel who didn't want a female-led movie. He pushed back hard. He fought against Kevin Feige on it. Kevin Feige almost quit over it. He wanted to have, we need Black characters. We need Asian characters. We need women. We need, no. Like Ike Perlmutter or whatever his name was, like, no. We can't sell any of those toys. We can't sell any of those comics. We can't. That dick like fucked everything up. I mean, he's not in charge. He was eventually fired, I think.
But I think that's what hurt that movie, right?
Sure,
because you just watch
absolutely.
Endgame and then there's no element of surprise.
Like, okay, we're finally doing the movie now, but it's like the timing.
But I know
stunk, and they
she,
couldn't
you
stick
know,
the landing because of that.
right. And even Taskmaster was not a fully fleshed out character,
No.
which bothered me. So
Taskmaster's cool in the comics.
yeah,
He's taking on the whole Avengers by him freaking self.
right. And I get a perfect example of the gender swap character. Change the origin. Perfectly fine with that, but give me something.
But they gender swapped and then they underwrote the character.
Exactly.
Underwrote, is that the right word? Like they didn't they didn't flesh her out. And it's like, I don't give a shit if she's a man or a woman, but she's got to be fucking badass because she is in the comics and she's like that. Taskmaster is a character that's like, holy shit, like you guys are screwed.
So I think the stats for the
like Taskmaster's
movie
for Red Skull too in the comics.
See, there's so much connections. There's so much to do with that.
So
but
much. And they did
now the character is, fell flat, or now it's one-dimensional, and you can't even. It's hard to connect that to something else because it was just such a flat character.
Yeah.
It
wasn't bad. It wasn't good. Just was like there was nothing. It was just.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Didn't hate it. Like I think that's our reaction, our default reaction to the newer movies. It was okay. Enjoyed it. And once in a while we're like.
But I'm wondering though, like, isn't Taskmaster part of the Thunderbolts team that they're doing?
Oh,
is that one of the members?
It could be.
Or it was originally released that she would be one of the members. I don't know if that's changed because like there's so much stuff going through rewrites.
And again, like this is why I know they like hyping up the crowd by here's our plan, but I'm like nowadays I'm like, is there an actual plan? I mean, it's probably
this shit.
Right. It is probably better for them to not, because like they have like what phase 4, 5, and 6 and whatever. They released all of that. I'm like, just focus on the now.
Don't. Who gives a shit about the next? They shouldn't. Honestly, if they had not said Kang and Secret Wars until like
it would be a nice surprise.
The year after, it would have been totally fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I don't.
Oh, that's why the reveal in Ant-Man. Never mind that. Like we've seen it he's actually in the trailer. But in Ant-Man when I can't remember Michelle Pfeiffer's character was well, it was him. I'm like, you can say it. Everyone in this theater knows who it is. So it like ruins the surprise for rules the effect. You're not as wowed anymore versus like first time you saw Thanos in the post-credit scene, and you're like, what? And then we're all like,
It
is
didn't
he
show
gonna
you
be the
anything after that.
right?
It was
And we
fuck
were
all. Nothing.
we were unsure if he's gonna be the big bad, and like the more you see of him, the more you're like, well, now I'm expecting him to be the big bad. And when he did, he was also humanized in his movie, right? Like he had like a backstory, and like, you know, you care a little bit and you kind of try to understand where it's coming from, which is enough backstory that I need for, you know, a villain. We don't need like a Thanos like movie of his own.
Yeah.
But the stats for the first 3 phases of Marvel movies, I don't know if you know, I believe it's like 23 movies over a span of 11 years.
Right.
That's the rate of production.
Okay.
The current phases, phase 4 and whatever 5, they've released 17 movies and TV shows in a span of 2 years. So that's a lot.
Wow, I didn't really think of the number, but holy shit. Yeah,
so that's why, you know, back then, you know, oh, I didn't like Iron Man 2 movie, or didn't like Thor 2 movie, but we're still excited for the next one, because you have enough time to digest that.
Yeah.
And to miss it a little bit, so that you actually want to see it more.
But
and
then but at that with that rate of release that we had before, how many times did you go back and watch Iron Man 1? How many times did you go back and watch Captain America or Thor? Or
even Avengers? I feel like I watched Avengers. I think I watched Avengers like
the first one
3 times, like all of them. I think like multiple times in the theater.
But you go back, it's like, okay, well, I don't have any other new content. I'm going to go back and watch what we have before. So then you have a greater appreciation. So when the next film actually comes out,
it's fresh. Everything's fresh, because I just watched this fresh, like 5 times, you know.
You don't need recency with, oh, we need a release every 2 months.
But I think they bit the bullet with having a streaming service, and so they're like, oh, we're losing people every time a show ended or, you know, movie is done. And but that just means that you don't have enough to be your own, you know, be an own channel, like partner up with Netflix or something. I don't know. And then maybe both of you will, you know, retain your customers.
Remember in the old days, people would like work on a movie and get the script right and the acting and the directing, and they put the movie out, and it just had to be as good as it was going to be. And they focused on that movie and they put the movie out. It's not how it was working over the last few years. It's like, okay, next thing. It wasn't perfecting what you already were working on. It was like, okay, yeah, we'll just hurry. Let's get this done so we can go on the next one.
Yeah.
The wrong approach.
And I think some of the movies are doing that. It's a shame that, like, you know, again, movies like Black Adam were worked on that for so many years, or like Avatar to, you know, work so many years on it, and then still, you know, unfortunately kind of like fell flat. Like they made money for sure, just from the hype, and obviously they visually stunning in Avatar too, but like it was just not worth the, I don't know, 10 plus years of making the movie.
Did it feel more like, okay, this is okay, we're on Marvel's next film, we rushed it out? Like, did it feel like, I mean, visually it didn't, but story wise it did, right?
Yeah. Did you watch it? Did you?
No, I'm waiting for it to come on Disney, because I actually kind of don't want to pay for it. Is there a date?
I don't know, because I think they're milking the theaters. You know, they are making money from theaters, because because it is like beautiful to see in a big screen. But when you see it, I can't wait for you to see it. And
I'll watch it for sure, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how can I not? Like, watch it for sure. So just to go back a couple of things. So the casting, you've heard about, like, the recent Margot Sue Storm,
or Adam Driver.
What's your thoughts?
I can't imagine them together.
Oh, as a couple, I didn't even think of it that way.
I can't imagine that, but I guess I could not imagine Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver before Marriage Story and then you watch Marriage Story. It's like, oh, now it makes
Yeah,
sense,
okay.
Um,
He's such an amazing actor, completely underrated. Even
mhm,
though he keeps doing these amazing performances, there isn't anything I've seen him in that wasn't that where he wasn't phenomenal. Even
mhm,
even the work he did in Star Wars, I know,
mhm.
despite everything else, I still think he was good in it.
There was nothing wrong. Yeah, there's nothing wrong
Like
with the
I
actress in
can't
there.
blame him. I can't blame a single actor in the Star Wars films. They did really well considering, what they had. So, and I think, I don't know, him as Reed Richards, actually, I really, really like the idea. It's like when they cast Joaquin Phoenix as Johnny Cash. He
Hmm.
looks
Yeah, that was
nothing.
perfect.
He looks nothing like Johnny Cash.
But he was perfect in that movie.
But yeah, you can't deny his performance. Like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe he doesn't look exactly like Johnny Cash,
Hmm.
but boy, does he have the mannerisms, the voice, the timbre, the body posture, like he nailed. So Adam Driver is one of those actors.
Right, that he can sell you the
Yeah,
character, right?
yeah.
But I'm just
They
like
get the
worried.
essence.
I'm just scarred of with the Fantastic that like I know this actor can do it, but can they
Right.
gel together along with
Who's
the
who's
other
the
people?
director of this one? Was it Matt Shankman or something?
Let me see.
Matt
Uh,
Shankman was like
I
WandaVision,
think so.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it is Matt Shackman. Sorry, I thought it was
Shackman, yeah.
Shankman.
And then there's like rumors that Mila Kunis was gonna be a female thing.
Yeah, what was that?
Which is again, I'm trying to imagine. So you got Adam Driver, who I can't imagine with Margot Robbie, because I don't know how they're gonna portray Sue, right?
Yeah,
Um, and if Mila Kunis is your thing, I don't know how that's gonna work. I mean, there's you can make it work,
yeah.
if you really want to, but like
Sure.
you need to have some good writers there to
But
pull
the
that
other
off.
thing too, I don't know if they do this anymore, but in the old days, they would work really, really, really hard on the one role in a film. It's like, okay, like when they found Harrison Ford for Indiana Jones, for
Hmm.
example, or I can't remember, like they really, we have to get the main character properly. And then when they had the main character cast, it was only then that they cast the other characters because of
Yeah, yeah.
the chemistry.
Hmm.
But then they would do, so for example, with Christopher Reeve for Superman, right?
Hmm.
Okay, we have our Superman now. Okay, let's test him with all these other actresses because we have to find
Exactly. Yeah,
the
yeah. They do
lowest
that.
laying. Yeah,
When they do auditions, they test them. And then that's
yeah.
how you maybe sometimes overplace them or find a new one,
Mhm.
or maybe, someone that they reassign them to a new role in the
Yeah,
same
it's like
movie or
you're
something.
awesome, but your chemistry
Yeah.
with this person is not what we.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, it has to like let's be honest. Reed Richards loves Sue Storm immensely, right? Like
Hmm. Hmm.
his whole, like, especially, I don't know if you read Fantastic Four comics or not, but in the last like 10 years, it's been about really developing their relationship
Hmm.
and basically reaffirming that yes, he loves science, he's
Hmm.
too work obsessed, but at the end of the day, he is nothing without Sue.
Hmm.
Sue is the one thing he never has to figure out. He knows he loves her. She's not an equation to solve. She's not a mystery to unfold.
But I really hope that they find the balance in the Fantastic Four movie with, the humor and the lightness
Yeah,
and, the
that's so
seriousness and
key.
um
But there's seriousness, but there's always lightness.
right.
Like it's got to be like I always consider it's a four color comic. It's bright. Like I don't know it. You can't go. I mean, you can have dark themes,
Right.
but they're always about
But again,
hope.
their character should still be the same, you
Yeah.
know.
Oh my God, we have so much more to say, so much more to talk about. It has been a while since Karen's been on the show, and we went on. We went on and we went on. So we're going to cut the episode here. We're kind of on the cusp of a whole new topic. Join us next week, next Friday, for part 2 of this conversation. We're going to talk trilogies. We are going to talk trilogies. Lord of the Rings, practical effects versus CG effects. We're going to talk about Star Wars, Clone Wars, Mandalorian, The Marvels, Secret Wars, and a little tidbit about Deadpool. See you next week.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. And bye. Have a good day.